Hi, I'm Erica Ramirez, founder of Illy and host of What About Your Friends, a podcast dedicated to the many lives of friendship and how it's portrayed in pop culture. Every Wednesday on the Ringer Dish feed, I talk to my best friend Stephen Othello and your favorites from within the Ringer and beyond about friendships on TV, in movies, pop culture, and our real lives. So join me every Wednesday on the Ringer Dish feed where we try to answer the question TLC asked back in the day, what about your friends?
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. Welcome to Bachelor Party. It's a very special Love Island that I knew we were going to need to do because Callie and I have both watched the Casa Recoupling now. We are through episode 35. I'll just say I've seen 36. Callie has not, so we are not going to discuss it. Tune back in for that later. But Callie, how you feeling? The Casa Recoupling has occurred. You've seen it all. Ella returned to the villa with Ouzy. Molly's there. Where are you at? Where's your head at? Where's your heart at?
Obviously, we have been covering Love Island on Bachelor Party on Mondays. And we both liked it. We liked the season. We're into it.
Slow burn.
Somehow, between last talk only a few days ago to now, I'm obsessed.
Me too.
And I've started just watching whatever I could to sustain the fix. Last night, 36 didn't drop till 3 a.m. And I had 3 hours of what can I do to get closer to these people. And I just started watching After Sun, Unseen Bits. I read that they have a new social media policy, so they can't post while they're in Love Island. So you don't follow the Love Island UK account because you will find spoilers there, which I don't want. But I did look all through Tyrique's page last night.
That's really funny. I went through his page as well. I also went through Scott's page because I was like, I want to come back to him. I'm Mad Scott is hot Scott, and I'm really into it. But I was just like, what's this guy's deal? And I wouldn't say I got a lot of answers, but I did do a deep dive. And then I did a bit of a dive on Tyrique. I mean, there's just so much to parse.
I also have a little info on Leah as well.
Ooh, please share it.
Nothing too exciting, but I also saw some stuff on socials about her. She looks way different, but she didn't get plastic surgery. It's her hair is a completely different color and she looks like a different person.
So she got a makeover.
I guess. It's really weird how different she looks. But when you put the pictures side by side, I'm like, oh, she's the same.
Interesting. Well, these people are really young. So also who knows what's happening in terms of their development, hormones,
Also, she is a dancer.
Oh, okay.
Which I will say, I did notice in It's Giving Sexy.
It's giving bad bitch.
Yeah. When they did that, I was like, oh, wow, Leah can move pretty well. So now I'm like, oh, she's a dancer. That makes sense.
And she was also asking very specific questions about the choreography as seen and unseen bits. She was like, what are we doing with our hands?
Yeah. So she's a dancer. It all makes sense.
All right. We got to talk about Tyrique and Ella and Ouzy. And we'll go backwards with what happened in the recoupling because this is obviously just an absolute...
Also, I just want to say, I feel like there's a lot to cover here.
There is. There really is. I also... My favorite thing was seeing the women respond to seeing Molly. Whitney's gasp. gave me everything. It
Well,
gave
it was
me
also
everything I
awesome that
wanted.
she didn't notice it.
Yeah,
Like she was standing next to her and I was like, oh wow, she had no reaction. And then she like sat down and looked up and was like,
I was like literally staring at Whitney, waiting for her to notice. Like I couldn't remove my eyes from Whitney.
I thought she noticed and was just kind of like, oh, whatever. And then when she sat down and gasped, I was like, there it is. She didn't see her. But she was standing right next to her. Molly was on the end.
Sorry, I know we said we were going to talk about Tyrique and Ella and Ouzy, but we got to talk about Maya. What an incredible performance by Maya Jama. Excellent hosting, excellent poking of people to get them to respond.
Excellent.
She looked stunning. She was like so good. I absolutely loved it. And I just feel like Maya is from a different species. Like she's not that much older than a lot of these people, but she has so much more poise and just like, I don't know. She's obviously a special person.
Seth texted me because we watched the recoupling separately and was like, wow, Maya's being really messy at the recoupling.
I loved it. Messy Maya
so good.
is for me. I loved it.
It was done perfectly. She didn't like pry too much, just enough. It was perfect.
Well, the only thing interesting about Montel is how Maya poked Tink to get her to talk about what they did, which wasn't PG. What do you think that means to you?
I don't know. Because obviously we both watched 35 and even 35, I'm like, I need an exact definition of what happened.
Me
seems
too.
Like
I need the bases.
Kissed.
We can't use movie ratings. We need bases.
I'm assuming, especially since Tink was incredibly ready to say whatever she could and clearly was salty. Because I was thinking to myself, like, Montel was not that bad. Relax.
Yeah, I know.
I think they probably made out in bed and like, obviously they're in bed. So like maybe got handsy, but didn't actually touch her skin. Because if he did, there would be conversation like, oh, he felt my boobs or, whatever, what happened with Tasha and Andrew. Like there would be, especially with Tink, I think she would define exactly what they did. And she did not.
I was thinking maybe he got a little excited and that's what she was like referring to. But like,
sure.
I mean, I don't know how he
If you're making out in bed with someone,
man.
That's going to happen.
Yeah. He's a man. So
I did not like Tink's reaction because I was just like, I don't feel like he told you. Every conversation we saw with him, he was very much like, my head's scrambled. I don't know what to do. After he kissed her, he said he felt horrible. Like you could tell he was like, oh, fuck, why did I do that?
Yeah.
On the patio. Why did you think you were coming into the house, Tink?
I texted this to you. Montel's just really horny. He's just like, I feel like he's in sensory overload all the time. And he's just like, always looks so bewildered. And he's like, just can't believe this is his life. In some ways, it's really sweet. But I just feel like he's not really like equipped to deal with this because he's so excited.
Two things, not to bring this back to Tyrique, but everything leads back to him.
We need to get there. So I'm glad you're going.
Him blaming the boys. I was just like, okay, yes, was Tyrique kind of demanding you to go kiss her? For sure. That happened. But also, why are you such a follower? And two, India, because I went backwards and watched After Sun. India from season 8, I believe.
I think she's 8, yeah.
Yeah, India from season 8 on After Sun, before they had seen the Casa episodes, said, Montel gives me follower vibes. So I feel like he's going to do whatever the boys do in the villa. And to watch that after, I know. To watch that after I'd already watched the Casa episodes, I was like, wow, I can't believe she picked up on that and was completely correct.
India's very fun on After Sun. She's also occasionally on the podcast. I really enjoy her. She's really great. Was she fun on the show? I didn't watch that season.
Yeah.
Is she still with Dami?
I don't know. So she was on an interview with Chloe from season 4.
Chloe Burrows.
Yes. And Chloe was saying how no one from her season is still together. They're the only season that has no couple still together. And India and Dami were on it together. And they were like, well, from our season, only Andrew and Tasha are together. And I was like, do they mean other than them? Like, I was confused. Why are they on the podcast together? Are they friends? I don't know.
All right, we'll look into that. But let's talk about Tyrique. I just want to say, as you were talking about this, I realized Tyrique did the exact same thing as Ron did last season in Casa. Instigated, but stayed very true. But he doesn't have nearly the personality of Tyrique.
I think the way Tyrique did it was better.
That's because you love Tyrique.
I do. But also, Ron did it in a much more like sly way. We haven't seen movie night yet, but if I have
Can't
to
wait.
bet on it, Tyrique is not going to back down from any of the decisions that he made.
Gotta tell you, Callie.
He'd be like, they were single. What did you want them to do? Of course they had to lip to them. They had to make decisions. He's not going to back down from anything. And he would say it. He would have said the same thing in front of those girls. He does not care.
Movie night's coming in episode 37. I can't wait. I feel like they're doing it really early.
Cannot wait.
I think it's like 3 days after the recoupling that they're doing it. So I'm very excited. Maybe 4.
I thought I was in the minority.
Yes.
In the Tyrique hive.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not. We are large and in charge.
How do you know that? Is it based on your group chat or from your internet research?
Group chat and tweeting. I get a lot of feedback on anything I say about Tyrique.
Oh, interesting. I think Tyrique and Whitney seem to be the favorites of like the audience this season.
I am unclear how anyone but Tyrique could be anyone's number one.
I think Whitney is the most beloved person from this cast. And I have to say, since Maddie left, we talked about this. It has been an absolute change of pace. And you didn't see this. This is like barely a spoiler, but her relationship with Catherine in particular, but also Ella, but really Catherine is so sweet and supportive. And the three of them together are really fun. Whitney's much happier with Maddie gone.
I would add just to there's like that foursome seem to care about each other. Also, since Maddie has been gone, Whitney all of a sudden is funny.
I know. She's still saying some of the like internetisms.
Doesn't bother me anymore.
She has also more of them. Or maybe we're just like seeing more of them. I don't know if it's just because like she's not in a relationship, so the edit she's getting is different, although she's still lock-in. But anyway, it's just a way different Whitney that's way more fun.
Or I don't know if I've gotten used to them, and now that I like her, they don't bother me anymore. She still says them a lot, and I think it's fine to say them occasionally. She just like, it's a lot. But I would say, I even said this in my group chat. I was like, somehow Whitney's in my like top 2. She went from bottom. She went from bottom to top. And I texted you this. If we want to give out awards, Whitney absolutely is most improved. MIP.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I think part of it is friend Whitney is a lot more likable than like chasing guys Whitney. And so now that she seems like she's happy with lock-in and Meddy's gone, someone's not trashing her, it's just much easier to enjoy her.
Agree. I also think I don't love like blaming people for like everything, but I think she was insecure with Meddy because of like how he treated her.
He's trash.
And and so I feel like, although in After Sun he said he was waiting for her, which was, I'm so confused.
Waiting for her to do what?
To come out, to keep trying with her.
Oh my God. He's such a dick. Also, I disliked him even more after watching Unseen Bits. I was just like, he's such an annoying French person who just like thinks he's better than other people.
I agree. And I liked Tyrique more.
Yeah. Tyrique seemed fun. All right. We keep dancing around it.
Wait. We see Tyrique's obviously a huge focal point of this. So we see him a lot. But in Unseen Bits, you really get to see his personality.
Yeah.
And it makes so much more sense why he is the leader by far. Like there's no one even like, there's not even like a co-captain. There's not even a VP. He is the president, the VP, the treasurer, and they follow his every move.
I would say Tyrique is definitively cool. Like he just has an energy and a swagger about him that kind of makes him a fuckboy, but reformed, I suppose, that nobody else in the villa has. No men, neither men nor women. There's no one else on that level. And
I would agree. And I would say his confidence is something that is hard to find in general, like between men and women. Like even him being able to say like, I'm hurt, like my ego is hurt, my pride is hurt. Most guys don't even like saying that. Like they would just pretend like they're pissed. Yeah. He's like, obviously, like my ego's hurt, my pride's hurt, and it just like won't let me do it. I always said I wouldn't be in this position. Like him being so honest about those things just shows how confident he is. And I think that's like hard to not like fall into.
Yeah. It's very appealing. Very, very appealing. I will say the one thing about it is Tyrique that drives me insane is his posture because his shoulders are so broad. And I'm just like, dude, stand up straight. Come on.
They're heavy.
I guess he just feels the burden of being the coolest guy in the villa.
No. I'm saying his shoulders are so broad compared to his body that I feel like that he naturally just like leans forward and hunches.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just like, he's gonna have back pain though, unless he gets older.
Sure.
So he needs to work on that. I just
also,
worried about him.
He's 6'1".
Yeah,
straighten up. You're 6'4".
Well, it made me realize how short, hot Scott is, because I was like, Tyrique towers over him.
Way taller. When they were walking to their date night with Jess and Katie, it made Tyrique even more appealing. I was like, oh, wow, look how tall he is. Can he do anything wrong? I don't know.
Scott, I gotta come back to Scott. But so when Ella brings in Ouzy, first of all, were you surprised?
I wasn't surprised. My thing is, I didn't think Ella had it in her. Like, I didn't think that she had it in her to bring back Ouzy, even though I think that she wanted to. It clearly was a horrible decision because she regretted it 1 second after she saw Tyrique standing there by himself.
And I felt so bad for Ouzy. So I just want to say, I was catching up on a couple days ago. I was catching up on the season 9 Islanders. I was like, what's everyone doing? Because I had read that Ron and Lana broke up. So then I was like, what's everyone else up to? And in that time, I learned that Casey, Tom, and Liv were like on an influencer trip together in Greece. And Liv was tweeting about posting about how do I watch Love Island? And then she posted a picture, like a still image, and it was of Ella and Ouzy. And I was like, fuck. So it like spoiled that for me. I knew that Ella was going to bring him back like a couple days before. So that kind of sucked. But the episode was so good that it didn't matter. Like, every moment of it was awesome. So the fact that it came at the very end, like, it didn't matter for me at all. Like, I still fucking loved it.
Were you sad at all for Tyrique, or were you just happy to be watching?
I was mostly just happy to be watching. And I feel, even from her reaction, I was like, oh, they're going to get back together. And his reaction too. I was like, there's no way that they will not be back together because they both feel so passionately. And it reminded me of Shaq and Tanya a little bit.
Oh my God. Don't ever compare those two to
Well,
these
it was
two.
similar. They both were like upset, and then they got back together like 5 seconds later. I mean, I feel like the cost.
I do not think that Tyrique is going to handle it the same way Shaq did. Tyrique is going to make Ella pay. She needs to feel some sort of pain for Tyrique to be like, all right, I might make out with Katie, but I'm getting back together with you. Just hold on for a sec.
Do you want them to get back together?
Okay, so last night when I was fiending for anything and watched all these random episodes, in unseen bits, I like Ella and Tyrique together so much more than what we see on the show.
Like, what were some things that you saw that made you like them?
Like, they were playing a game, they were playing in the pool, and like they're definitely having fun. And we don't see that at all.
Yeah, we never get to see that.
Even obviously after seeing the recoupling and the episode afterwards, you hear and see how much Tyrique liked Ella. And I was kind of like, where did this come from? Like, yeah, they closed it off, but we didn't see him like get more and more soft with her. In unseen bits, I was like, oh, why don't they show this?
I know. Unseen bits is weird because it's exactly what I want from Love Island. It's like seeing them hang out and like get to know each other. Maybe there's just like too much happening in the season, so they had to cut it out. But it actually reminded me of a lot of the things that I really liked about season 3. And I was like, oh, right. Like this, they still do get to hang out inside the villa sometimes. They still do like make up games together. They just don't show it
as much.
Show them being casual. It's like, it adds to the enjoyment of the show and like getting to know them. Also, it actually, the person who I feel like I learned the most about from Unseen Bits is actually Sammy, because I don't despise him as much. Like,
I agree.
The only thing that you get from Sammy is like him toying Jess and just being like, back off. And the way he talks to her is so rude. But he's actually like, you can see that he's more fun and you understand the guys really like him and all that. So I wish they showed more of that. It's just purely an editing decision. And even showing more of like the girls working on the dance and stuff. Like, just show them having a good time. Like, we want to see them enjoying themselves, not only fighting, because then it also makes the fighting more dramatic. You get the highs and the lows.
100%. And like seeing the pranks and everything, like I feel like we got to learn their relationships more. Like, the guys get along really, really well.
I know.
And
they love each other.
I feel like we're not seeing enough of that. Like,
I know.
the Zach, Tyrique, Sammy trio is really close, and we don't see enough of it.
And Zach and Mitch are close too.
Yeah, Zach and Mitch are close. Also in Unseen Bits, they showed Mitch and Whitney talking a lot. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen them talk once.
Zach is a total goofball. Like, Mitch is a clown and he's like the class clown, but Zach is goofy. He is a goofy dude. That makes me like him a lot more. The fact that he's like not cool guy, but like just a lot more. He like cracks people up. He cracks himself up. He has a really different. He's not like this hot guy. You know what I mean? Like all the girls are going. All the girls like treat him like he's always been a hot guy, but he's really not. And I love that about him. Like, you like that based on his like physical transformation. We talked about it, but I see that in his personality that I'm like, oh, you're not like this uber confident, like, you know, looking for just, I don't know. He's not a fuckboy like Tyrique at all. I think that I now understand that Zach was like overwhelmed by all this attention. And that's why he couldn't speak to Molly when she returned.
Also, I don't think he's used to having like the hot girls attention. And
definitely not.
I think Molly would probably win the most overrated award. But
absolutely.
But she was a very hot commodity in the villa and she chose Zach.
Right.
And Katie, hot commodity in the villa, she chose Zach.
Right. Whitney, best personality. Wanted to get to know Zach. Kind of.
No, I think she did.
Yeah.
I think Zach was just like overwhelmed at that point. Mm-hmm. Also, the girls talking about the guys, it's, to me, very clear that Tyrique and Zach are the two that everyone's like, well, obviously, if he wanted me, I'd want him.
Of course. They are the best guys. Yeah. I don't know. I love Mitch. I would want to hang out with Mitch the most. Mitch, Tyrique.
Would you want to date Mitch? Do you find Mitch sexually attractive?
Mitch and Abby is the cringiest thing I've ever seen, but it is so funny.
It's so funny. Mitch, I'm not sure, like, he's definitely like missing a step, but he's made me laugh out loud multiple times at my television. And the recoupling wouldn't have been the same without his reactions to everything.
I know, I loved it. When Ella walked in and Mitch was just shaking his head, it was like unreal. He put his shirt good drama
up to his eyes.
Oh yeah, he shook his head for Catherine, right? And then he covered his face for Ella. Let's talk about Catherine. While I find Catherine and Ellen's kissing absolutely disgusting, and I don't know why they have to show it and play it in such graphic detail.
It's after watching the episode last night, I was just like, this is completely unnecessary.
It doesn't seem like a good kiss, but if that's both of their kissing style and it works well, great. Glad they found each other.
They're really into like licking each other's tongues outside of the mouth.
Yeah, and like a lot of chin and head movement, like a lot. Which, okay, sure. If that's what you guys want, I support you. I'm just happy for her. She seems way, way happier, and he seems like a much, much better fit. I mean, Ella and Whitney have also said that a million times. Scott and Leah really should be together because I get the impression that they're both like very pretty people and like super boring, because the hottest Scott ever was when he was really pissed. And that's kind of like all I have to say about him. He has like really beautiful eyes and like a very handsome guy. But like, is there anything there? Also, did you watch the Unseen Bits where they were playing like the fake like lemon throwing soccer game or whatever? And
so
he
good.
Sucked at goalie and just like, dude, you're a professional goalie. So I don't know what you're given.
He ended up winning, but somehow Maddie was in it with him.
He only won because Mehdi messed up so many times. It
Twice.
wasn't like
It
wasn't because he defended well.
With Scott, I haven't really had no opinion on him. Recoupling episode, I was like, oh, huh.
Finally gave us something.
Mm-hmm. First time I thought something about him was the recoupling episode, and I think he was genuinely pissed.
Definitely. Which I just still don't believe. I still think that he's just been using Catherine, although like maybe he doesn't know how to understand feelings.
But he had options in Casa Amor.
Did he? But I don't know. The Casa guys are so much better than the Casa girls.
Yeah, for sure. Also, of course, it's always going to go back to Tyrique for me, but I LOL'd at dinner when Katie was like, "You're my type to a T," and then she's like, "You're a type to my T too." And Tyrique was like, "How the fuck am I a type to a T?" And he's a type to your T, and we're complete opposites. Like,
I think you did watch episode 36, Callie, when they would go on their little date. The four-person date.
I did watch 36. I didn't watch 37.
Yeah, because it's not out yet.
I thought, no, it came out at 3 a.m.
No, 36 came out. Oh, maybe you're
Yeah,
right.
no, 37 probably is out now. Which, by the way,
Oh, yeah, I did
why
see
the
that.
fuck was 36 late?
I think it was like an interface problem. Like apparently people texted me that or DM me that like if you hit next episode, then it worked. You're right. You haven't seen 37. I have.
Yeah.
My bad. I liked when they went on the 4-person date. I liked it a lot. It seemed fun.
And again, back to Tyrique, it is like how much the guys do everything he says is scary. He could easily be a cult leader if he wanted to.
I think you might join. You'd be first and like Sammy would be second.
100%. I'd be one of his 12 wives. When they were at the 4-person dinner and Scott said he was interested in Katie for like 2 seconds and Tyrique essentially was like, shut up. We never heard about it again.
Scott basically didn't speak at that meal. Like we only heard from him like for 10 seconds. I don't understand why, because well, obviously everyone's just going after Katie because she's the only one who's actually single, but Katie, though Leah and Scott seem like they're equal levels of boring, Katie and Scott, I think, should be together. Like that just seems kind of like a no-brainer to me. He was obsessed with her when she came in. He seems like she could dominate him. Like she could dominate him, which I feel like she might be into. I gotta say, I really like her now. I didn't at first.
I did not. And her performance the past 2 episodes has been pretty good.
I
like
also
how,
like that
it seemed that her and Ella, like she has been pulling Ella to the side to talk to her multiple times. She's talked to Tyrique multiple times about like, waiting for Ella. And even though she is clearly interested in Tyrique and probably would crack on with him, she's like, I'm just not this stupid. I know what's happening here, but I'm happy to flirt with you in the meantime.
Yeah, let's just, pass some time. Katie also, I just like that she's not settling. She's not like, has to be with someone. She's just sort of like, this is gravy because she's already been on the show before. So she's just like replenishing her followers and doing her thing and doesn't have to leave with the guy, which is great. It's a great MO. I really enjoy it.
I think it's fine as long as she puts in the effort that she has the past 2 episodes. Like if you're not going to date anyone, you still need to be in the mix. And she did just the right amount the past 2 episodes.
She's not grafting, but she's on job. And I appreciate that.
That's what we need. That is what we need.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. I also liked how Whitney was encouraging Ella. She's like, you just gotta get grafting, gotta put in the graft.
I think Whitney, because the advice the girls give to each other is not great. It's not good. I actually think it's horrible. Whitney probably gives the best advice, and that's not saying a lot.
One thing that I also found really impressive about Ty was his attitude towards Ouzy and his approach in talking to him. I was just like, wow, this is fucking friendly. I couldn't believe it. And me too. I
thought he was going to lose it.
That was one of the most, his 2 best moments for me, like humor aside, was when he confronted Ella in private after backing her in public. And then how he handled Ouzy. I was just like, wow, like, good job, dude. Like, you do have like the emotional maturity if you want to. Yeah.
Maturity? Somehow I'm like, oh, wow, he's way more mature than I gave him credit for. First of all, I thought he was going to crack in Casa. He did not at all. Then how he's handled even with Ella, like he's pissed off at her. Well, I haven't watched 37 yet, which the previews, I'm not sure how it's going to go. But like, he's not insanely disrespectful
No,
at
she
all
just
to
can't
her.
handle it.
Like when she was crying and he was like, don't cry, give me a hug. Like you just, you made these decisions. So I'm not sure what you want me to do. Like you're going to have to live it. You're going to have to sit in it.
I'm glad you brought this up because one thing I was thinking about is how I feel like the boys and the girls have a different idea of what Casa is supposed to be. Because the girls, both Catherine and Ella, were like, well, I brought him back because I didn't want to like rule it out yet. And they're like, but we can still date. Do you think that's a valid perspective of like, I'm bringing this person back just because I don't want to close it off? Or is Ty and Scott correct in being like, fuck no, like you did this, like we're over?
I think Ty's correct. I think Scott is not. Only because, and another thing I want to give Tyrique is that watching these shows, sometimes when they're like in debates and arguing, I get really frustrated when they don't say the right thing. And Tyrique was like, yes, I got to know other people out and when we were open and getting to know it.
Right.
I mean, we were open to get to know other people. Once we closed it off, you don't get to know other people. We just closed it off. We decided to not get to know other people. So if you wanted to get to know someone, why did you close it off with me if you weren't ready to do that? Because I surely didn't close it off till I was ready.
I thought he was like very harsh, but like hard to fight with. He was pretty logical. He was like, what did you expect? This is what happened. And I don't know. I find Ouzy's beauty absolutely stunning. So I'm just like, can someone just date this man? Like we can't waste Ouzy. Like I need more.
Well, on the opposite side of it,
no.
Ella is not logical. Her argument of being like, oh, well, I knew him before, and Tyrique being like, that makes it worse. That means you're not getting to know him. That means you know him and still chose to bring him back.
Which is definitely true.
And even her being mad at him, flirting with Katie and being like, oh, are you going to be petty now? He's like, you did not really just sit me down to talk about my decisions. Like, there's no way you're doing that, right?
It's true. I don't know what he wants. Like, it's hard to understand like what he thought the end game would be from what he was doing. But I guess he was just hurt and he wasn't thinking it logically, which fair enough.
I think that he wants to get back together with Ella, which over the past 2 episodes, we've seen him soften. The first day of the recoupling, he was like, I will never get back together with her. We are done. It's over. Like there was no debating it. And then and I haven't seen 37, as of end of 36, he's like, I don't know, but I know if you don't end this in the next 6 hours, that I will be done. It's on you.
By the way, what time do you think they wake up? Like, what's their wake up time?
I think it's really early because it's part of the whole like torture, get them to do crazy things.
Oh, you think it's early so they get really bored? Because I was like, do they wake up at like 12, like 3?
I feel like it's like 6.
6? No way, because they stay up so late. They have to get like more sleep than that.
They don't want them to.
I feel like they need to. I don't know. That's weird. That's crazy. I'm just absolutely dying to like visit the set or talk to a producer. I would pay money to be able to go to the set for a day and just observe.
I would too. I also think that it might vary because they have no clocks. They don't know what time it is. Like multiple people when they've come out have said they have no idea what time it is when they go to sleep or wake up. Like there's nothing that tells them the time. So I'm sure
the phones, do they just take the clock off?
Yeah, there's no time on the phone, they said.
Oh my God. That's nuts.
So I'm sure that the producers base it off of like they need 6 hours. They go to sleep at this time. They're waking up at this time or whatever it is.
That's crazy.
But they have no idea.
That's really crazy.
But yeah, Scott on the opposite hand, you guys were still open.
I know.
She can do that.
And
I think she can come back and I think you can still date if both people are open.
He gave her nothing to hold on to. Like, why would she want to like stay loyal to that? You know, there's really no reason that at all. I mean, he just...
On the flip side.
Yes.
Like, why did Ella bring back Ouzy?
I think because he's a nice guy. I think because she didn't trust Ty. I think she didn't want to be embarrassed and she thought that he would be stood there with another girl and she didn't want to be beholden to that. She just didn't trust him. Plus, Ouzy's really hot. Who wants to say goodbye to Ouzy?
For sure. I'm just like, she didn't even talk to him for 24 hours. Like right when they got back and she saw Ty standing there, immediately she was like, uh-oh.
Ouzy's got to be a great guy. Like, just think
There
about
was
it.
never a second where she was like, I don't know what I want to do. She immediately knew what she wanted.
Ouzy has to be such a lovely person to endure what he's going through. It's like,
and not be mad about it.
Yeah, and not be mad, not be acting out.
They're literally like yelling at each other in front of him. He's just like, I don't know what to think.
Yeah, he's just like, where's your head at? You tell me.
Also, when he was like, don't explain yourself. Don't explain. You don't have to explain yourself. It's all good.
She should choose him. Even though Ty is like really fun, like great TV, like Ouzy is definitely the better boyfriend. There's no doubt about it.
I don't know. Tyrique was great in Casa.
I guess. He seems fun. Maybe Ouzy's too boring. We need more banter.
Yeah, Ouzy is boring. On top of that, though, I'm like, well, why didn't it work before? Why didn't you want to date her before, Ouzy?
It was like right beforehand. I think it was just like there wasn't enough time. I don't know. Tyrique and Ella won't make it on The Real World, so maybe she'll go back together with Ouzy at some point in the future.
I hope they do. I hope they do make it.
Who do you think wins?
I mean, if Tyrique and Ella stay together, they're winning.
Do you think there's any chance for Zach and Molly?
No. They barely show them in episodes now.
Molly's so boring. She sucks.
I don't know if I haven't watched 37, but in 35 and 36,
Molly's not in it.
I forgot she was there.
Yeah, totally. Zach just likes her because she's like a hot commodity and she's very hot.
Maybe if Whitney finds someone, not Locken, but finds someone where they have like a very great real relationship, there might be a chance.
I don't think there's enough time.
I don't see that happening. We're already on 30. Yeah, we're already on 37. Like there's only like maybe 2 weeks left.
Yeah, there's
max.
2 weeks left. I can't believe it. God,
isn't that so sad?
I know. To like wait for so long for another season. Luckily, we can go back and watch some old ones.
Also, my group chat is also very obsessed with Ty, and they're like, he's a star. But I'm like, but what can he do after this? Like, how can we keep his momentum going?
It's a great question.
He needs to like be a coach or something. Because
coach for what?
Did you see? I don't know, football. Did you see the unseen bits where they're all the guys are sitting down and he's going by one and going over their performance?
No, I somehow missed that.
Oh, it is really good. They're all sitting on the lawn chairs and he's like standing up and walking by them one by one and telling them about their performance. Like he's like, Mitch, what's going on, bro? What's in your head? What are you doing?
He's great.
Really good.
That's really funny. I like that he's fun. We got to see more of this on the main show. I don't know what they're doing. This is sort of like they're sitting on gold, and this is what they need to do. Why do you think we both got so into it? Like a couple weeks later, like why? Like, is it always a slow burn like this? Like, what do you think it was that needed to catch on that changed like a week or two ago?
The only thing I can think of, because my love for this season went from like probably like a 6 to a 9 over the past like 5 days. And the only thing I think of is that like I actually believe in them liking each other.
Right. That's what I was going to say too.
I think Ella and Tyrique actually like each other. I think Zach and Molly actually like each other. I think Leah and Montel actually like each other.
They're kind of irrelevant to me, but yeah, sure.
But they do like each other. Yeah. I think seeing that, and even like the Sammy and Jess of it all, which I totally agree with you. I don't hate Sammy from watching Unseen Bits. And I was just like, fuck, he's getting it really bad at it.
Really bad. Really bad.
Like, did you see the prank they played on him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was, and like him being able to laugh at himself and all of that, like that's all great.
Yeah. He seems like he's actually like fun to hang out with.
Super, super, super invested now.
I am too. And I just, like now I actually like believe the drama. I think it's because people got heated. Like we actually saw people like getting upset. And I also, I think that they changed it up a little bit, like the format. So like the morning chats became like less noticeable and like they weren't, like the episodes have been like less structured around like all of the girls sit together and talk. They're still doing it, but they're doing it like in smaller groups and stuff.
Yes, well, there's been a few times, maybe like 4 episodes ago, where I was like, there's no way these people picked who they're talking to. So the producers are definitely choosing who's going to talk to who, and they're putting them in like 3 to 4 people groups.
Yeah.
And fortunately for the producers, they're picking the right groups.
Yeah, and it's like also feels less stilted. It's less of like a, all right, morning meeting, let's go around the group. It definitely feels like more of a chat. But I I think because we also both went back and watched Unseen Bits, getting to know them more and getting to like understand the relationships and like what else they're doing just makes them more like three-dimensional. Like it's not just about like Whitney being treated like trash by Medi and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like it just, I buy into it a lot more and like understand these relationships. But I think things for me really turned around with Casa. I take that back when Katie arrived. The Molly dumping shook things up a lot. And then from there, things got a lot better. And like, I think
it's been great.
That like shock of like a key player being removed, especially when they're just getting really comfortable and they had like just had that date, was so genius. I really wonder if the producers like beforehand encouraged Katie to pick Zach. I'd love to know. Because it really flipped the season and made it so much better.
This is what I think probably happened with Katie. She was probably like, my top two choices are Ty and Ella.
Mm-hmm. Ty and Zach.
And I feel like, Ty and Zach, yes. And I feel like the producers were probably like, Ty's probably not going to leave Ella. So Zach's your better option.
Yeah.
Because she barely knew them. She only got to have conversations with them for one day. And she chose Zach. And it was a great call by the producers.
Yeah, it was really smart of them.
But Ella dumping would have been too much because her and Ty were too far along.
Yeah, and they really provided a lot of like structure to the season. Even though I wanted her to go early, like now,
yeah,
I don't really like her that much, but she has her moments. I like her more than I used to, and I guess I want Ty to be happy. So okay,
she's not my favorite, but we would not be where we are today without her.
Yes, she's important to the show. One thing I was thinking
also just want to say my prediction.
Oh yeah,
for Ty and Ella, and I might be wrong because at the end of 36, I kind of changed my mind because it does seem that Ty is like when she tried to kiss him and he was like no, and then he was walking down the stairs. I felt like he wanted to kiss her so badly. And was just like, you cannot do it, bro. Like, keep walking.
Yeah, I know. He really wanted to.
Yeah. Which made me like him even more. Like, I feel like he's only going to do what he thinks is like the best thing for him, which is really hard in that situation if you really want to kiss somebody. I think most people would have folded in that situation. But I think a big part of him wants to get Ella back just so he can be like, yeah, obviously, I'm going to take her back from Ouzy. Obviously, she's going to choose me over Ouzy. But the end of 36, I was like, he actually might really fucking like her. And he says multiple times, like, I've never liked someone like this before.
You're so young. It's crazy.
I know.
I really forget how young they are. And then I see Amber and I'm like, yep, they're really fucking young. Who do you think? I'm just curious about movie night. Like, I feel like Montel and Leah, that could be bad for them. Who knows what will happen?
I think it'll be bad for Sammy. I think it'll be bad for Montel. I think it'll be bad for
Ella.
Definitely going to be bad for Catherine. It's definitely going to be bad for Ella.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be bad for Tyrique. But luckily for us, Tyrique doesn't give a fuck what other people think. So they might also put in how he was closed off super early. So I feel like they're going to have him like be like, absolutely not. So it's going to make him look really good. And then it's going to show him telling all the guys their marching orders.
I don't think that's so bad. I don't know. That wouldn't bother me if I were Ella. Maybe the other girls would have bothered them, but.
It'll definitely bother them. Well, right now, all the girls love Ty.
Yeah. I guess like if you're Jess, you're going to be like really pissed.
Jess and probably Leah.
Yeah, definitely both of them.
Wait. One of my group chat made a great point though. I would be pissed if I were those girls, but the hypocrisy is wild. All the girls were telling those girls, like Whitney, Jess, were all like, Tyrique is definitely going to do something. So like, you do you, do you. Da-da-da-da. Like they're doing the exact same thing, but for some reason, the women can do it and it's all good. But Tyrique doing it, they're going to make him look like a monster.
They were really egging her
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I know.
So I'm like, are they going to show that?
I hope so. Shoot, I wanted to say one other thing to you, Callie. Now I can't remember. Fuck. Oh, well. Oh, how much do you think Molly got to see when she was dumped?
I think she saw everything except for... I think she saw everything.
So
maybe the episode before Casa.
I wonder if Zach could be hurt by anything, but maybe not.
Oh, I don't think so.
Because he moved on really fast. Like, really fast.
Yeah, but she said that. She's like, why were you kissing someone? So they might bring it back up to just like shove it in his face.
Yeah.
You know how they like doing that. Even though it's stuff she's already known. They might just do it to make it a little bit worse. Or maybe show us stuff we haven't seen before.
Right.
But
That's what I was thinking too, which would be good, I guess. Because usually on movie night, do they show you things that have already been on TV, or do they show stuff that's never been seen?
Yeah, usually it's stuff we've already seen.
Right. So,
but you never know. This season has been different, so I could see them like changing it up a bit.
Well, I can't wait to find out.
It'll be interesting.
I can't wait for movie night. And also now that I've embraced unseen bits, I'm like, great. What else will we see tomorrow? This is wonderful.
Like, you're not pissed about that episode now.
No, I'm not. I'm like, oh, I don't have to like find a way to fill an hour. I'm like, oh, great. Unseen bits. I'd love to watch.
And I did text you this, but a gold mine with Love Island.
Oh.
Like, how good the UK show is incredible.
Are you going to watch US when it starts in a couple weeks? I don't think I'm going to.
No, I didn't watch last season. Have you watched any of them?
No.
If you watched one season of US, you'd be like, wow, people in Europe are just way better.
I already know that, so I don't even need to watch the show. All right, Callie, we'll be back on Monday for more Charity and, of course, more Love Island. And who knows, maybe we'll throw in a little Bravo. I got to catch up on Crappy Lake and The Real Housewives of New York, so there's a lot going on. You're not excited.
Great.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.